I don't want to talk to you exactly about, the poisoning case, but I do want to talk to you, Mr. Dvorkovich, about trade. We were in Helsinki, and we all witnessed the amicable friendship between President Putin and President Trump. How would you describe the relationships between the U.S. and Russia right now?
I think the relationships between Russia and the U.S. are tense and far from the level you would like it to be, and it's certainly not positive. It doesn't help trade and investments. Businesses still survive, companies still invest money, but not in a very friendly political environment. So they suffer from that, but still business is going on. So on a business level, science, research, education, I think it's still okay, going well, but on a higher political level, it's not good. It doesn't pave the road for new projects, for new big investments.
So given what's happening with the nerve agents, given what's happening with the sanctions, given what's happening with anything that touches foreign policy, do you think Russia feels alone at this moment in history?
No, Russia doesn't feel alone. We have difficult relationships with the United States, not the best one with Europe, though we have very good partnerships with individual countries and companies. But we have much better relationships with our Asian partners like China, Japan, South Korea, and a few others. Also, we are in the project of integration with our direct neighbors, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Armenia, Kyrgyzia, and with some of the Middle East countries as well. We have close partnerships and economic ties with some of the major countries in that region.
When do you think relationships with Europe, with the UK, and with the US will get better?
It comes with trust. If you'll start turning the difficult page over and we'll try to understand each other, then with time we'll start also trusting each other, and then relationships can be improved.
Mr. Dvorkovich, I want to ask you about sanctions on Russia from the United States. We know that so far the U.S. has made it so that it's not trying to prevent foreign investors from buying or selling Russian debt. But the deputy finance minister of Russia told Bloomberg yesterday that Russia is ready to buy its own debt if U.S. sanctions on Russia cause some kind of a market crash. Do you think that's a good thing to keep Russian bonds out of foreign hands?
I think that it is important for all our partners and customers to understand their own interests. For Europe, Russian gas is cheaper and safer. We were long-term partners for decades. And of course, it's going to be the decision of our long-standing partners whether to buy Russian gas further or not. I don't think that the American pressure should be of key importance for this kind of decision. Economic considerations are much more important for Europe, for European customers, than political relationships. But we are ready to any scenario. We have our ties with other markets as well, and we will keep going forward. Our gas is very competitive. The gas is cheaper, and we can have very good contracts with other customers.
Okay. You anticipated my next question as well, to look at the differences between Russia and some of the other emerging markets that are going through turmoil. I want to shift gears a little bit here to war games, because NATO and Russia in the coming weeks will be launching a series of super high-end war games. There's going to be a temptation to read a lot into these exercises, especially with China participating in Russia's Vostok exercise. What's the message that Moscow is sending to the West, to the U.S., to NATO?
It's not about tension between Russia and the West. To be strong and independent in today's world, you have to have a professional, well-equipped military. And I think we were better off with investments into the professional, modern military than staying with the weak one that could be of danger to the others. The new one is not of danger. It just keeps the world stable and creates the real parity of interests.
Do you worry, Mr. Dvorkovich, about the perception of Russia and the impact it has on the economy? How much are sanctions actually biting?
No, certainly the perception has and makes harm to the economy. But perception is not the same as reality. And one could see during the FIFA World Cup, the Football World Cup, that Russia is completely different. It's not the same country as being perceived, in particular in some of the Western countries. I think the British fans were not very happy, but not going to Russia to see a beautiful team playing at the Russian World Cup. I think we proved to the world that we are open country, that our people can show great hospitality, that we are ready to work with each partner who wants to work with us.
But between the nerve gas attack in, of course, in the UK and the, of course, allegations of intervention
talking about
in
perceptions.
US politics.
There are no proofs. We didn't see any proofs. So again, it's about perception and allegations and things like that.
But do you think that's keeping international investors away from Russia?
It is not. It is keeping investors from, I think, huge opportunities that Russia can present. But those companies who are already working in Russia continue their businesses. They're not taking money away from Russia. They have successful projects, many success stories, and they earned a lot of money in Russia and treat Russia as an equal partner. Do
you worry about inflation running hot?
Well, inflation is well under target, under the maximum level the central bank wants to see. It's about slightly more than 3%. The target was about 4%. So inflation is slightly higher than before, but I think it's a structural adjustment that we are undergoing right now.